Hey everybody, good morning. Today's February 8th, and the reason why that's significant, to me anyway, is we're supposed to have scheduled power outages countywide. And they say it's going to last 5 to 6 hours for scheduled maintenance, whatever the fuck that means. And so I'm going to set ourselves up for success here because I think it could possibly go longer. I don't know. I don't know who's all going to be affected, but they did say that you can expect 5 to 6 hours of no power. And so there's a couple things I have going on here in the homestead, and there's a couple things that I definitely need to address power-wise. So I'm going to show you what we're going to be doing. So the first thing that I'm most worried about, and the one thing that has priority right now, is going to be my eggs. So I have almost 100 eggs that are incubating right now, and they're at the very end. So one of our incubators is in lockdown. The other one will be in lockdown in about a day. So it's super important for me that I ensure that those eggs stay viable, okay? Because literally we're talking about our chicken food source for this year. So it's all in our back bedroom here, and it's very important that I address that immediately. So here we have it. Here are our incubators right here. This is our Kodiak solar generator. This thing is great. I was one of the first people to get this system when it was on startup years back, and it's worked amazing ever since. And so what we have set up right now is the incubators are plugged into the Kodiak, and the Kodiak is actually plugged into the wall, and it's charging. So whenever the power goes out, then the Kodiak will take over powering the unit. So this is the safest way I can do it because I'm going to be doing some work on the homestead. So whenever the power outage starts, the Kodiak will continue to keep these things powered. So that's a huge piece of our preparedness here. That is going to be our chicken harvest for 2021. So it's really important that all the work that's gone into that so far doesn't get wasted just because we lose power towards the very end. So that's why the generator is going to them. Next thing I'm thinking about is heat. As you can tell, it's cold outside. I even have a beanie on inside, so that's the next thing that I want to address. We don't run our heater at night. When we wake up in the morning, we'll turn it on, so it's turned on now. But with no power, we're going to have to come up with another way to heat the house. On the homestead, we have a wood fireplace. We also have a wood stove, so if for some reason we don't have power, we can always get these lit off. We have plenty of wood here, so that should not be an issue. So we'll go in here. This is one of my cold rooms. We have 2 freezers in here. Ultimately, we have 4 freezers on the homestead. We keep these things stocked to a healthy capacity. We eat a lot of animal products here on the homestead, but that's no surprise. We grow a lot of food. We grow a lot of animal products here on the homestead. So, you know, our freezers full of meat are paramount to our preparedness. Now, right now, at this present time, I'm not worried about it because with the freezers and the meat being frozen in the freezers, we have 40 hours initial survival time when it comes to, that. They won't even start to thaw until after about 40 hours. So at this point in time, I'm not overly worried about it. But if we don't have power by tonight when it gets dark, then I'm going to start figuring out a plan to address our freezers. The next thing I'm looking at is power storage for all our USB and small electronics. So right here I have one of my solar power packs. This is I believe 26,800 milliamp hour. So this thing is, you can charge it with solar. It has a good battery capacity on it. So this will be able to charge things like my iPad and my cell phone many times over. And I have many of these. So we're all charged up here. So everything that is USB or small electronics are covered. These power packs are huge. So as you can see, I just stepped outside and this thing's already charging. You can see the green light and you can see the blue lights showing it's charging. And look how shitty our overcast is. And we're underneath this, right? We're underneath a ceiling here with a clear plastic. And this thing is still charging. So remember, guys, these things are super important and they can be very, very, very helpful. Another word of advice is to diversify your life, especially when it comes to bring preparedness back to the little things. This is what I mean. This right here is a mobile shower. Okay, this is a Britain mobile shower. This is great because it can be charged using USB. Any USB source can charge it. And as long as you have water, you can take a shower. If you have warm water or hot water, perfect. You got a warm or hot shower. So something like this enables you to take back your sovereignty. You're not worried about this big electric 12-volt system to take a shower that requires all these pieces. You just need water and a USB connection, and you can take a shower. So diversify your portfolio, diversify your power usage wherever you're. And as you can see, right at 10 a.m., the power is off. As you can tell, I'm not the only one that was thinking what I was thinking. My neighbors down there, they have their fireplace, and right here, they have their wood stove going as well. So we think alike out here. So this must be the maintenance they were talking about. Looks like we'll be coming up on it here shortly. Oh yeah, there it is. So a whole line of work trucks here, probably about 8. So yeah, there's definitely a lot of maintenance going on. So yep, a lot of work being done. So excuse my messy truck here, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is my cup inverter. Now I did a product review on this a couple years back. I've had it for a while. This thing is great, and it's a great preparedness item. And the reason is because if you have to drive, if you're driving for any reason, whether you're going to the grocery store, or you're going to work, or whatever reason you need to drive, you should be producing power at the same time. If you're going to burn the gas, you might as well make the most use of every gallon of gasoline that you burn. And as you can see, it has 2 USB ports and 2 AC outlets for your 12 volt. So I have my iPhone connected, and then I have a power pack that's also connected. And this thing is charging when it's in my truck at all times. And as you can see, I just leave it in there. So if I need a power pack, I can open it up and I can quickly get to it. But like I said, if you're going to be driving, you might as well be charging essential power equipment while you do it. Because if something happens, I can immediately go to my external power pack, I can grab it, and I know this thing's ready to go, and I know it's charged because it's always on the charger. So when I need it, I have it. And no, you're not going to hurt your power pack. Maybe if you're one of those guys that travels and you're driving around 8-9 hours a day. Me, only time I use my truck and only time I'm driving my truck is if I have to run errands, whether that's to the feed store, to Home Depot, grocery shopping. That's pretty much it. So this system pretty much keeps my power pack topped off. So when I need it, I have it. But if you do drive a lot, then ensure that your power pack is fully charged. Unplug it, put it back in your glove box or whatever. But if you need it and it needs to be charged, plug it in, get that charge going. Excuse the messy trunk bed, but here's another word of advice for you guys to think about. This is my external power pack. As you can see here, it's charged 78 out of 100. And so it needed a little bit of a charge, so I'm plugging it into my truck right here. This is my Tacoma TRD, so it has the receptacle in the back for charging. As you can see, when it's idling, 400 watts, and then when I'm driving, it's 100 watts. But this will allow me to charge my power pack. So this power pack is great. I'll leave a description to what this can do, but it has many options for external power, right? So I can jump start my car, I can inflate a tire, I can charge my phones, my laptop, what have you. So this has a lot of uses, and I want to make sure it's topped off, so I have it plugged in. So as you guys can see from the light right here, it's charging. So there you have it. Like I said, if you're going to be burning the fuel anyway, you might as well be producing power. With this, on this little trip that we went on, as you can see, it's already up at 83%. It started off at 50. So it went from 50 to 83 just in that short trip into town. So I'm able to keep this thing topped off. I'm able to keep my external power pack charged and topped off. So like I said, if you're going to be wasting the fuel, if you're already going to be burning it, produce power. Produce that power. And for those of you wondering, that's a Schumacher jumper box. It allows you to jumpstart heavy equipment. It has an air compressor. As you saw, it had the 2 AC outlets, the 2 car outlets, and it has 2 USB ports as well. It's a great piece of equipment. When I was full-time RVing, it saved my ass more than once. So I'll leave my product review description so you can kind of take a look at that video. And like I said, produce power where you're at. Because realistically, for how much the average American drives, there's no reason why you can't be off-grid with your small electronics just by changing out your external power packs that you charge in your car. I mean, realistically, people commute that much. So if you're going to be burning the gas, make yourself as sustainable as possible. So it just goes to show. So you see, like I said earlier, that's my neighbor, his wood stove and fireplace. And then you can see right over there, somebody else's wood stove is smoking. Yep. People around here get it. When there's no power, we still have to heat our homes. And the good thing about having a gravity-fed well system is that I always have water. Another helpful tip I have for you guys is to take everything that you can and put it on solar immediately. So if there is something that you can put on solar that's within your price range, go ahead and just get that knocked out now. So whenever the power does go off for whatever reason, whether it's maintenance or a natural disaster or, I don't know, the big one, you don't have to worry about these systems because they're already acting independently of the grid. As you can see, it's 9:57 and we have power. So like you guys saw, it's late, but we got our power back. So that's good, kind of an all day thing, but it looks like they got the pole replaced. That was what the maintenance was for. The electric pole was leaning over and it's made of wood, so it's just a matter of time before it cracks, it pops, and boom, it falls. So I'm glad they were able to get that taken care of, and I'm glad we have power again. So really, the only thing I had to do was switch the chicks back to AC power, and I went ahead and plugged in the solar generator so it can recharge. But other than that, our normal day-to-day life wasn't affected a whole lot. It was during the daytime, so we didn't have to worry about getting the solar lanterns or anything else like that out. But again, hopefully this was helpful for you guys to kind of see what you can do and really prioritize what it is that needs to be done, because obviously your priorities and my priorities are probably going to be different. You know, not everybody has, you know, chicks in a brooder that they're growing up to raise for their food for 2021. I do, so obviously my power considerations are going to be a little different than yours. But we got everything done without a hitch, so that was good. And another tip for you guys, the freezers, right? Obviously the freezers are back up and going, and like I said, I'm not worried about it. You know, I'm not gonna have to worry till about hour 40 when things are really starting to thaw. So what I would do in a situation where the power was going to be continuously out is I would take water bottles, like Gatorade bottles, normal water bottles, and I would fill them with water. I'd get probably 20 of them, 20, 30 of them, and I would fill them with water. What I would do then is I would layer the freezer with water bottles, put all my meat inside, and then I would layer the top again with water bottles, and then I would run the freezer using my gas generator if my solar generator was being used. It takes about 3 to 4 hours with my freezer, 3 hours to freeze water. And so what I would do is I would run the generator for 3 to 4 hours to get the water frozen and to get the meat frozen again. And then I can take the power off and I can let it sit for another 30 to 40 hours. And then pretty much once every 30 to 40 hours, plug it in for another 3 hours, get the generator going, get it frozen again, and keep going. So this is going to allow me to keep the meat frozen using how well sealed and insulated that freezer is with the frozen water bottles. So that's just a helpful hint for you guys. I hope that was helpful for you guys as well. Also, another thing we can do is we can move some of the meat that's in this freezer to our RV freezer, which is run 100% on propane, so doesn't need electricity. So we have a lot of things we could interchange here on the homestead, but this year we definitely plan to do some more power projects. solar, wind, or things, more solar and wind or things I'm looking at. I would like to get these systems individualized and off grid one at a time. So like I said, we have a lot of plans here on the homestead, but for now, we can definitely do what we need to do. We have plans and systems in place. So when they do happen, there's no thinking about it. I don't have to think about it. I just have to prioritize and then do. And that makes that makes life so much easier. So again, hope this was helpful for you guys. Thanks for joining me in my little power outage. And as always, guys, long live the Republic.